welcome to the world of illustration. Today I'm going to be talking about my unit for my visual arts class, Illustration 101. Let's get started. So in this unit, students will explore the applied art that is illustration. Unlike other projects in the class thus far, they'll be focusing on the subject rather than the necessary form. I want them to get across that message, get across that idea through their visualization. So, talking about illustration, giving you a little bit more of a definition. It's a visualization such as a drawing, painting, photograph, or other work of art that stresses the subject more than the form. The aim of the illustration is to decorate textual information such as a story, poem, or newspaper article. It provides a visual representation. Alright, some quick favorites of mine. Here's a couple to look at. Top left is an illustration of the word transportation. The top middle is a poster, a movie poster, really just trying to advertise something. Top right is a character preparation. For an animator, they do these illustrations in order to plan out what their character is going to look like in character development. Bottom left is a storybook image. The middle bottom is exactly what I stated before. It is an illustration of a newspaper article, possibly a magazine article. Bottom right is another character development image for the movie Up by Disney Pixar. Something I'm a little fixated on right now, so it's in a lot of these examples. So like I said, it can be a multitude of different images. Again, this is another character development illustration, and it's a sketch that's an illustration preparation for animation. So this is Kevin the Snipe from the movie Up, and it just shows all his different faces, his playful, his defensive, his curious, and his goofy faces for the different character traits. Okay, again, words can illustrate anything. Words, text, stories, and ideas. So again, this is an early Disney illustration of the word transportation. It can also be a 3D scale model. So this is considered an illustration, but it is a 3D form. Storybook illustration, again, really important to stress the subject more than the form for the little ones to understand. So on to the unit. Students will address the following California state standards. For the technology standards, creativity and innovation, communication and collaboration, digital citizenship, and technology operations and concepts. I'm not going to get into these too much because there's too many. The visual arts standards, there's so many throughout the unit that they will be addressing. I do want to stress two of them. They will be addressing a social issue in one of their projects, as well as they will be able to talk intelligently about the visual arts and about their artwork. They'll be using the 4 steps to art criticism. We'll get into that later. So some objectives. Students will be able to listen and observe lectures on the history of illustration and take notes in their sketchbook. The different objectives hit the different Bloom's taxonomy levels. This one happens to hit knowledge, understand, and evaluate. Students will be able to participate and follow along with technique demonstrations, more understanding. Students will work independently. So apply, analyze, and create. And students will be able to collaborate. As I said before, they're going to use the 4 steps of art criticism. They'll be able to describe, analyze, interpret, and judge their peers as well as their own. Okay, moving on. Students, if they need to finish, they will be able to work on their own. So apply and create. And students will also be uploading, scanning, resizing, edit, saving and compiling photographs of their artwork into a digital portfolio on the class website. This is a huge part of this unit. I can't stress it more. And again, it's hitting apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. And it's going to be hitting all of your multiple intelligences as well. It's a really great project that is really useful for the kids. Some materials, they'll be using a multitude of traditional and digital materials. The software, I'm unfortunate enough to have the Adobe Suite on my computers in class, but the kids will be on a rotating kind of on a rotating circuit of the projects given our limited resources. So we've got all those resources, but they've just got to, pick and choose appropriate times to use them. Moving on, so they will participate in all these activities, and they'll be hitting a lot of the multiple intelligences. Students will be able to flourish in their own strengths as well as explore the different ways of learning of which they may be unaware. I always thought of myself as a visual learner because I'm an art person and creative, but lo and behold, when I was little walking through a store, there was no such thing as look, don't touch for me. I had to touch everything, I had to do everything. And it took me until almost adulthood to realize that I'm a kinesthetic learner. I have to do, I have to touch, I have to be a part of it. So hopefully we can help some of these kids discover these things sooner. Alright, so just some quick breakdown of language. For the way that I break up my class, focus talks are teacher lectures. Students take Cornell notes in their sketchbook. This can also include games on the smartboard, question and answer sessions, but mostly for the verbal and visual learners. We have little Barbie, art teacher, teaching her little student there. I couldn't pass up that picture, it was too funny. Workshops are teacher demonstrations of a technique, so students will follow along in their sketchbook and mimicking the teacher actually doing what the teacher is doing, so visual, logical, interpersonal, and kinesthetic. I'll be using an Elmo projector for this, the document scanner. It's a really, really great resource. I can actually do a painting on my desk and have it projected, have my hands and what's going on projected onto the screen. So great for kids to follow along to. Just a couple more studios when they're working independently. Okay, that's when they're creating their own work parts, and we hit all the multiple intelligences with that one depending on the project. Pin-up groups, where students collaborate and critique each other's work. They actually pin up their work in a given space to create a gallery setting, and these groups are pre-assigned so that they have a safe place to go to where they can talk about their artwork. We do get a little emotional at times, but some days if we have time and more of a lighter subject matter, we can break into spontaneous groups, and they will get new partners. So take home is just homework. If they need to do something else that they didn't finish in class, they can take it home. Okay, and quickly going on to a couple of the projects. I'm just going to go through these. The first one is the logo. They'll be creating a logo, creating a prototype for a product, that packaging with the logo on it, and ultimately doing a skit with a group and creating a commercial, all going back to that logo. So it's a very involved project, but it's a lot of fun. The alliteration, they will just be illustrating an alliteration just like in a kid's storybook. They'll be doing that in pen and ink and scanning it to the computer to create a digital halftone image. The upper right-hand corner is an example of my project called 30 Mona Lisas. They will be taking a face, breaking it down into its different values, and then they'll be creating color combinations. I don't care what colors they combo, but they'll be creating 30, and they're all going to be identical in form. The only thing that will be different between the two of them, or between all of them, are the different colors. It doesn't necessarily need to be Mona Lisa, just the name I give the project. Fourth one is a manimal. This is a half person, half animal. I want them to use their imagination, really stretch what they know and go there with that. Souvenir, they'll take a souvenir from their life, and they're going to be illustrating how they got that souvenir, how that souvenir came to be. Last but not least, the social issue poster, social action poster. They'll address something going on in the world today they want to talk about in their poster, and they'll be creating an image for this. Okay. My rubric is this. It's partly quantitative, but I also tell my students, I give them discretion that I also will hold them to their own personal capabilities. If I know that they're capable of more than they're giving me, I'm going to say that, and it's going to be reflected in their grade. So I leave that open, and effort and attitude are two huge things in my class. If you don't have a good attitude, I'm sorry, but you're not going to get an A+ in my class. It's all a part of the class. However, this is my quantitative rubric for the specifics of each project. So really quickly, I just want to touch on the digital portfolio one more time. Just a great thing for the kids to do. They'll be editing all of their stuff themselves, putting it on our class website, where they will have their own link where parents, friends, family, whoever can access their artwork and see what's going on in their class. So Thank you for listening, and cheers to all the coffee I drank to get me here. Thanks so much.